Okay, let's wrap up the week with Tim Blair from the Daily Telegraph and Mark Nicholson from Stepmate Studios. Mate, gentlemen, I like to think of this as our national cabinet each week, but I bumped into a bunch of gentlemen who convene at a coffee shop on Jetty Road at Glenelg every morning, and they reckon they're the national cabinet, so I'm going to have to defer to them. One of them used to play footy with my dad a million years ago, so we must be a subcommittee of cabinet. I want to get your thoughts on what's been a pretty wild and wacky election campaigning week, starting with Peter Dutton having to sort of backflip and disown policies, and then we had the leaders' debate and other debates later in the week. What did you make of it all, Mark?
Mate, I'm a bit flat on this week, to be honest. I'm a bit scared. It's almost like we're at the halftime break of the footy, and I reckon the boys need a bit of a spray. I just checked the punting markets, and Labor are paying $1.28. What's going on? I don't understand. I think the boys in Glenelg would agree with me that I don't know if we're seeing enough fight from the fellas. I wanted it a bit more scrappy than this. There are real problems going on in this country, and seeing a backflip like that. Seeing a few little light jabs in the debates, I just think it's scary that it was close. I said that to you last week. I'm scared that it's close. I can't believe that they're getting it's $1.28. $1.28. I don't know what world we're living in. They just shouldn't be getting away with this. It's unforgivable what they've done for the last 3 years.
I think you're absolutely right. This is my point too, Tim. I'm keen to get your thoughts on this. I just think we need to see so much more fight from Peter Dutton and the coalition. They got to be telling people that this election's important, that the country's going down the tubes, and if we don't get ourselves together and get rid of this government, the next term of this government's going to be incalculably worse than what we've just seen.
Well, we do have the issue of there's a lot of people who quite reasonably and very fairly aren't particularly engaged in politics. And while our little cabinet and the cabinet in South Australia, while we're over all the issues, we follow it all intensely, and it's very, it means everything to us, that the vast majority of people perhaps in Australia aren't that engaged. And maybe, fingers crossed, things will kick in the next couple of weeks. But for now, it's you're not going to grab those people by playing it safe and having a very cautious Dutton-like approach to the election. Got to grab some headlines and get out there a little bit more. Yep. And you're not going to get there as well by backtracking on what was, I think, a fairly sound policy in the first place.
Yeah, he's got to go for the jugular. He's got to capture their attention, because what is front of mind for those people, whether they're interested in politics or not, is their grocery bills, is their electricity bills, is the concern that their kids won't be able to get into the housing market. I mean, everybody's talking about these pressures, so Peter Dutton's got to grab these people and get them to vote his way. Have a look at this from the Treasury debate last night on Sky News, getting to the nub of the electricity broken promise.
Will you apologise to the people of Australia tonight for having your government having said that energy prices would come down by $275?
I take responsibility for all of the decisions that we've taken in our budgets.
So you will apologise?
Including the fact that energy bills last year were $300 cheaper because of our energy rebates that Angus didn't support.
Now, Mark, this is what should make so many people angry, right? They came to power promising to cut electricity bills and to reduce the cost of living and to keep interest rates down. I mean, they've failed.
And mate, they're getting away with it. That's what's so wrong, is that everyone, rightfully so. This is a very rare case where you've actually got like some righteous anger, which is the best kind of anger that you can throw at them. People out there are really struggling, and these sort of things, like you shouldn't be asked for an apology. You should be begging for forgiveness. That's what you should be doing. You should be standing up there, hat in hand, and not being able to, and promising the world and actually showing how you're going to deliver it. That's what I mean. The people out there, they want them to go for the jugular on this one, because it's just, it just makes sense. We can't let them keep getting away with that, because they're playing politics. People are genuinely struggling. $1.28, Chris. We've got to fire up. This is wrong.
It's a pretty good call, isn't it, Tim? They shouldn't be offering an apology. They should be begging for forgiveness.
I just want to work out at what point in the process does the rebate become ours, as the Treasurer put it. They take a bunch of taxes away from us, and then when they can't meet their promised reduction in the power bill, they give our taxes back, our taxes, and they call it theirs, or in his word, ours. It must make people who are really pushing it financially, which is a lot of Australians, it must make their blood boil to do that. And again, $1.28. Maybe we should stop mentioning that thing, because if people get on, the numbers might even go lower. We should stop mentioning what sort of odds are, because if we're throwing money at it, we want it to blow out.
It's even worse than that, right? You're right. They jack up our electricity prices, so they take more of our taxes to pay it back to us to make it look like the electricity prices aren't so bad. But then they take more of our taxes to give some money to some rich greenie he's putting batteries on underneath their solar panels. And then they take some more money of our taxes to pay the coal-fired power stations to keep going because they've stuffed everything up. I mean, they're just ripping us off blind, left, right and centre. It came up again today in the energy debate.
The Treasurer last night could not even bring himself to say a simple word. Sorry. Sorry, we got it wrong. Sorry, we promised you all through even the term of government a $275 reduction in household bills, but actually you're paying well over $1,000. And I hope Chris takes the opportunity today just to look down the barrel of the camera and say, Australians, we got it wrong. Sorry.
Well, he means Chris Bowen, of course, not me. I'm not going to look down the barrel of the camera and say sorry for anything just at the moment, because I did not vote Labor at the last election. Let me show you Chris Bowen. He's so cute and with it out there on social media. Here's his latest spray.
Market Lane Coffee, one of Melbourne's great coffee businesses. Jason, you got solar panels and a lot of electrification here, but you don't have a battery. Making a battery 30% cheaper, what sort of a difference would that make?
It'll make a big difference for sure. We do things like charge electric vehicles, our forklifts.
We did that for small and medium-sized businesses to reduce bills and emissions. Cheers.
Great. Your taxes, Tim. They're flying Chris Bowen around the country, boasting about how he's using some more of your taxes to give some coffee shop owner a cheaper battery.
He's an odd unit, isn't he? I mean, who says cheers with a cup of coffee? That's one of the most peculiar little moments we've ever got from a guy who's fairly odd in the first place. But yeah, that was notable. But I'm happy that the ads are running, and if I was a Liberal Party, I'd be donating to Labor just to make sure the ads continue running, because I can't see a lot of people rushing to get their early voting cards, and on the strength of that little effort. That's for sure.
The good news, Mark, though, is there was a poll in The Australian today. It's not an Australian poll, it's some other group done the poll, but they reckon that Chris Bowen could be under threat in his own seat. Imagine if he got booted out of Parliament. That would be at least some victory. I don't know, I haven't checked the odds on it. You'll have to check that independently.
Well, I have, Chris. I'm here checking the markets constantly. It's $1.04, I reckon, for Chris Bowen to lose his seat. That's what it is. I hope to God that market is wrong. I hope to God that's wrong, because there would be nothing sweeter than seeing that bloke lose his seat. But again, like looking at that video, it's like, how many more own goals can these blokes kick? It's like they continue to show you that they deserve to lose government. And unfortunately, we've got no one out there who's trying to win government. That's the problem. $1.28 and $1.04 apparently for Chris Bowen to retain his seat. Come on, we've got to fire up.
We've got to fire up. I think that's the word, unanimous word here from the National Cabinet. Fire up, coalition. This one really matters. Thanks for joining us, Tim Blair and Mark Nicholson. We'll catch you next week.